Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here we see Kapila Muni addressing his mother. He is giving the conclusion or conclusive statement. Just prior to this verse, we saw there was reference given to worship of different devatas, worship of even the Supreme Lord in his plenary portion as the Hiranyagarbha expansion, and before that the description of Varnashrama Dharma, performance of various kinds of sacrifices. All of them are indirect processes. Now he is concluding and he is telling, my dear mother, Atha tam sarva bhutanam hridpadmeshu kritalayam. Now, what are you supposed to do? Shruta anubhavam sharanam vraja bhavena bhamini. Shruta anubhavam. Till now you have sufficiently heard from me. So, from whatever you have heard, now do this. Shruta anubhavam sharanam. Surrender unto the Lord. Vraja. Vraja means go or take. Take shelter. Bhavena. In devotional service. Or by devotional service. Bhamini, my dear mother. Shruta anubhavam sharanam vraja bhavena bhamini. Sharanam vraja bhavena. If you just replace these words, bhavena sharanam vraja. So we have heard from Bhagavad Gita. Mamekam sharanam vraja. Yes. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Here, bhavena sharanam vraja. So in Bhagavad Gita we hear, Mam ekam sharanam vraja. There is instruction. Just surrender unto me alone. So here in Bhagavatam we are seeing, bhavena sharanam vraja. Sharanam vraja bhavena bhamini. Bhavena sharanam vraja. By rendering devotional service, through devotion, surrender unto the Supreme Lord. So how to surrender, that is given here. That explanation we can find here. Bhavena sharanam vraja. For this, see, ultimately like devotional service, it is performed with bhava. Srila Prabhupada in many places, he says this. Externally, the activities what a devotee does, especially in the sadhaka stage, appears to be mechanical. In the beginning sessions, in our classes and all, we teach to students, hold the japamala like this, right hand, middle finger, thumb, and you chant like this, and you should pull the bead this way, one at a time. So it may appear as a mechanical process, but over a period of time, the devotee can realize that Krishna is there in this transcendental sound vibration. By me vibrating this sound in this particular way, as directed by my spiritual master, I can directly connect with Krishna. See, this is a later realization for the devotee. But in the beginning it appears, yes, it's some mechanical process. Similarly, other services related to deity services, more we can understand how, say in the altar, a devotee who is doing some pujari service, he is being trained. Okay, first blow the conch, take this whatever agarbatti, light it, and these many number of rounds in this way, ring the bell. Okay, after this the second item, take the lamp, the third, fourth, some sequence is given, some procedure is given. So that way he is supposed to do. So it appears to be something mechanical. Go inside and rotate the dhupa, deepa, all of these things. It appears mechanical. But a devotee is expected to awaken his natural love towards the Supreme Lord. And all of these activities should act like an expression of various kinds of offerings in that loving relationship. Because ultimately loving relationship, it should come out in the form of some service, some give and take, some rendering of service. All of these are part of loving relationship. So a devotee, through all of his activities connected with the Lord, he offers actually the bhava or the love within his heart. Of course, as of now, it is not there. So all these procedures are given to awaken that love towards the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada gives one wonderful example to explain this. We can also relate with this. This example of like how a young girl in earlier days, they used to marry them very at young age. Boys and girls at very young age, they used to be married. So they are all small children. And though they are married, the girl will be kept still under the care of her parents. So the marriage has already taken place, and still a young small girl. And the boy, once in a while, especially during some festivals, he comes to the house of that girl during some festival, Deepavali time and all. And the small girl, she is made to offer one laddu to that boy, to her husband. And initially, in the younger days, she's a small girl, she'll be playing somewhere around, her mother will call, okay, take this laddu and give it to him. She comes, snatches that, go and gives him, she again goes back to play. This is how it happens. But over a period of time, as years passes by, she becomes a mature girl, and the natural attraction for that boy or whatever develops. And then the same act of giving that whatever sweet or some laddu to that boy, so many things are involved. She keeps waiting when he'll come. She nicely plans how to decorate herself. She plans where to make him sit. She cleanses the house very neat and clean and tidy. And in which plate should I offer him? And she personally cooks that laddu, putting nice ghee, everything. All of these things. And what does he think? Everything. So there is bhava involved. So likewise, there is an intimate relationship with every living entity. towards the Supreme Lord. Now we have forgotten that. So all the procedures of sadhana bhakti helps us re-establish this lost relationship with the Supreme Lord. In the beginning stage, it may appear to be mechanical. Shri Krishna Balarama ki jai. In the beginning, it appears to be mechanical, but there is bhava, there is love, which awakens over a period of time. So, related to this, in the Bhagavad Gita, we find this verse 10.8, which is that Buddha Bhava Samanvitaha. Previous to that, this previous verse to that. Search. Aham sarvasya prabhava. Yes. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Devotees, they worship the Lord bhava samanvitaha. And Buddha, after understanding, it's not only sentiment, some emotion, without the backing of proper understanding or knowledge. No, Buddha bhava samanvitaha. So what is this? Aham sarvasya prabhavaha. Devotees, they understand the Supreme Lord. He is the Supreme Personality. Mattah sarvam pravartate. Everything emanates from Him. He is the ultimate source of everything. And then, iti matva. In this understanding, bhajante ma. He engages in the service of the Lord. So this proper understanding is there at the back of the mind, and it's full of his heart. There Srila Prabhupada, he translates this word bhava as with all of their hearts and with great attention. See, when there is love, when there is affection, there is great attention in whatever we do, giving attention to the details of all the activities. With all of their hearts, with great attention, devotees engage in the service of the Lord, understanding the Lord to be the cause of everything. Everything is emanating from Him. He is the ultimate master. He is the ultimate proprietor of everything that be. With this understanding, he engages in the Lord's service with full of his heart, with great attention. In the beginning, we have not awakened that love. So, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to take up to this sadhana process. It is an austerity, it's a tapasya, it may appear as an austerity. So here, we can recollect this verse from the prayers offered by Prahlada Maharaja to Narasimhadeva. Sattvatma yonirati vismita ashritobjam kalena tivra patapasa parishuddha bhavaha tvamatmanisha bhuvigandhamivati sukshmam bhutendriya shayamaye vitatam dadarsha. There, this verse, he describes about Lord Brahma. Atma Yoni or Swayambhu. Lord Brahma is born from the lotus flower which emanated from the navel of Garbhodaka Shahi Vishnu. Lord Brahma, after his appearance, the only thing he saw was that lotus flower. He couldn't make out anything. anything else other than that. So what did he do? Kalena tivra tapasa parishuddha bhavaha. For a lengthy period of time, he performed tapasya. Taking shelter of that lotus flower, Lord Brahma performed tapasya or austerity. Through this austerity, tivra tapasa parishuddha bhavaha. His bhava became purified. And then after once he realized the Lord, then after this tapasya, what happened? He realized the Lord. How he realized? It is given through an example. Tvam atmanisha bhuvi gandham ivati sukshmam. There is this, like say, panchabhuta we say. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. There is this earth component. And in this earth component, or bhuvi, the predominating distinguishing factor is its aroma, gandha. So there is some object and there is aroma. If you look at that object, where is the aroma, where is the smell, you cannot find. Just like flower, this flower is there. This is earth component. And especially this flower, champaka flower, very fragrant. Just keep in one room, the entire room will become fragrant. So you ask, show the fragrance, where is it? It is there here. Our eyes are limited, we cannot see the aroma, the smell. So this flower, this object is like embodiment of that smell. It is filled with that whatever aroma. But through our eyes, we may not be able to see. Likewise, the realization that, yes, in this earth component, the aroma is there. We can perceive it through our nose by smelling it. Likewise, Lord Brahma understood or realized the existence of the Supreme Lord throughout his own body, senses everywhere. Bhutendriya shayamaye vitatam dadarsha. The Supreme Lord has pervaded throughout my body. So this he was able to realize. Just like how in the earth, any object, the aroma is there. Likewise, throughout, in every place, the Lord is pervaded. So this was the realization of Brahma. And how this realization happened? Kalena tivra tapasa parishuddha bhavaha. So he had to do tapasya for many, many years. So for us also, if we want to realize the Lord properly and engage in His devotional services full of our hearts and attention, so in the beginning stage, tapasya is required. Austerity. So that austerity we take up in the form of the sadhana bhakti, which is directed by our spiritual master. In this connection, in the lecture given by Srila Prabhupada for this same verse, he says, thus Lord Brahma took shelter of the lotus flower, and when he had been purified after undergoing severe austerities for many hundreds of years, he could see that the cause of all causes, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was spread throughout his own body and senses, just as aroma, although very subtle, is perceived in the earth. So in the lecture, Prabhupada says, Lord Brahma executed severe austerity for hundreds of years just to become purified. Tivra tapasa parishuddha bhavaha. Bhava, the situation or nature, at the present moment, which is not real bhava. We have acquired this bhava on account of long years material association. Aparishuddha bhava. Just like now, we also have got bhava towards different objects of this material world. We have loving relationship with so many people of this material world. We also become ecstatic during certain occasions. Just like few months ago, there was this election held, and a very big politician had come to our city, and so many people lined up to see him, just to have a glimpse of him. And they're standing on top of the trees and here and there, and just waiting for hours together just to see him. And once they saw, like we were seeing how many people, tears shedding from their eyes, and they're thrilled and so ecstatic, looking at some politicians or some film stars or some sports people. So the bhava is there towards different people, different events, different activities. These are all aparishuddha bhava. Being in constant touch with whatever this material world, there's so many other bhavas we have developed, which are all temporary, which will not give us real happiness. It may be political bhava, lusty bhava, greedy bhava, attachment to family bhava, for name and fame bhava, so many things will be there. But this bhava can be changed. That is spiritual. Srila Rupa Goswami also says bhava. Sri Rupa Goswami, which is that verse? He defines this Krishna consciousness. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavita matihi. The mind which is fully absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna. Rasa bhavita matihi. So this is bhava. Bhava is ecstasy, and everyone is overwhelmed with such kind of ecstasy. As I told you, many people for different things we become ecstatic. But we are trying to change that bhava. This is our process. We are trying to change that bhava. The bhava must be there. The whole of Krishna consciousness movement is to purify the bhava. That is stated here. Parishuddha bhava. We are not negativating everything. We are simply changing from material bhava to spiritual bhava. That's all. From material bhava to spiritual bhava. Here is a big building, but there are many other hundreds of thousands of buildings in this district, in this country, but here the bhava is changed. Prabhupada gives the example of the building, temple building. Outside also many buildings are there. There the bhava is different. In the temple the bhava is different. In the temple, the Supreme Lord, He is the center of all of our activities. In the outside world, maybe in our personal houses we would have seen. For in every home, the man, he thinks, I am the center of all the activities in my home. Just like, see, our temple is there. Just adjacent to this, so many buildings are there. Very recently, just adjacent to our building, there is also some training center. They have some guest house, guest rooms, dormitory facilities are there, which are much attractive than the facilities what is there in our temple. But the bhava is different. There, restrictions are there for accommodation and all. When we were first approached them, as a religious organization, no, we cannot give. For Krishna Janmashtami, for Krishna's purpose, no, we cannot give the accommodation there. You can bring the letter in Akshay Patra, name we will give. That's the bhava there. In our temple, these things are meant for the Lord's service. Here no intoxication, no gambling, no smoking, all those rules are there. Who are ready for that, only they will be allowed here. So this is the bhava here. The building is the same. Outside, it may appear externally more attractive still. The bhava is different. So just yesterday also we were hearing from Madhu Pandit Prabhu how this is the Vrindavana bhava. What is the bhava in Vrindavan? Krishna is the center of all activities. So that Vrindavana bhava can be brought everywhere. It may be one's home, it may be one's community, one's country, wherever it may be. Bring the Lord in the center and perform all activities for His pleasure. This is Vrindavan life. So this Vrindavana can be created anywhere, in any home, any country, any community, wherever. Just bring the Lord in the center of all of our activities. That becomes Vrindavan. Just like here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, one can attain direct contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in full Krishna consciousness and revive one's eternal relationship with Him as lover, the Supreme Soul, son, as friend, or as master. So like this, in varieties of ways, we can relate with the Supreme Lord as a master, as the son, as in different relationships. And this is not simply some sentiment, this is a real fact. Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita. Pitaham asya jagato. I am the father of the entire world. Mata, Dhata, Pitamaha. I am the mother, I am the grandfather. Everything ultimately he can be related by a devotee in any of these varieties of ways. And one more point Prabhupada mentioned here is how Mother Devahuti. Actually, for Devahuti, these instructions are not required. Why? Why? Because already she is related with the Supreme Lord with an intimate relationship as His mother. Kapila Muni is not different from the Supreme Lord. And Devahuti is acting like His mother with that paternal relationship. Vatsalya Rasa, she is already relating personally, directly with the Supreme Lord. So these instructions are actually not required to her. This is what Prabhupada says. And that's why indirectly to indicate this, Kapila Muni addresses his mother in this verse as, how does he address? Bhamini. Yes. Actually, she did not need any further instruction because she was already in the perfectional stage. Kapila Deva advised her to continue in the same way. He therefore addressed his mother as Bhamini to indicate that she was already thinking of the Lord as her son. So this is how, as devotees, already we have taken this step of coming and being in the association with devotees in the temple, accepting the shelter of the Supreme Lord, accepting the Lord as our master, and acting as a servant, performing all of our activities, the single sole objective to please the Supreme Lord. Of course, in our conditioned state, through our activities, we may be pleasing the Supreme Lord also, and little, maybe we will be taking some sense gratification, false ego feeding, things may be happening. But gradually, by this connection with the Supreme Lord, all our sense gratification tendencies will become washed away. All of our tendency for satisfying our ego, everything becomes cleansed. And then Parishuddha Bhavaha. With that Parishuddha Bhava, purified state, we can render loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. And this loving relationship is direct relationship. As it is told very clear in this verse, O my dear mother, by devotional service, take direct shelter of the Supreme Lord, not indirectly, directly. So there is one prayer offered by Vritrasura in the battlefield when Indra he is about to kill him and he's supposed to die. At that point of time, this Vritrasura offers wonderful prayers. So there, in that one of the prayers, 3 examples he gives. How intensely we should yearn for associating with the Lord, to serve the Lord. 3 examples are given. The first one is Ajata Paksha iva mataram khagaha. Khaga, small birds. Ajata Paksha. Paksha means like the wings. Small birds whose wings are not yet developed. They'll be in the nest and they'll be waiting for its mother. The mother has gone to bring some food. And these birds, they're just waiting when the mother will come back. Some little danger, something they see, they're very desperate, eager and waiting for the mother. And another example of a calf. Stanyam yatha vatsarataha kshudartaha. Kshud means hunger. A small calf, it's very hungry. In the goshalas we see the cow is tied and the calf is also tied in another place. The calf is waiting when the rope will be untied. And once it is untied, what the calf does? It will run towards its mother. You may give some green grass, so many other calves to play around, so many hundreds and thousands of things may be around. It is not at all interested. It just wants to go near its mother and suck the milk from her udder. See, that's the second example. And the third, Priyam Priyeva Vyushitam Vishanna. A chaste wife, her husband has gone outside, maybe some business or whatever, they travel, and she's waiting when the husband will come back. Nothing else can satisfy her except for the association of her husband. Likewise, Mano Aravindaksha Didrikshate Dvam. Prabhupada says, I always yearn for the opportunity to render direct service unto you, my Lord. In the purport also Prabhupada writes, a pure devotee always yearns to associate personally with the Lord and render service unto Him. So this is the eagerness, this is the intensity with which a devotee is supposed to perform devotional service. And by performing this also, we are all sadhakas, so many mistakes we may perform. Just one last quote, I'll read this portion from the Bhagavatam and we'll conclude with this. This is the instruction given by Yamaraja to his dutas, assistants, Yamadutas. Sarvatmana vidadate khalu bhava yogam. Yamaraja to his assistants. Considering all these points, therefore, intelligent men decide to solve all problems by adopting the devotional service of chanting the holy names of the Lord. This world is full of problems. Every person, every family, every country, wherever you go, full of problems. Intelligent people take to the process of devotional service, more specifically in Kali Yuga, the process of chanting and hearing the Lord's holy name, Shravanam Kirtanam. And by doing this, what will happen? Such persons are not within my jurisdiction for punishment. They don't come under the jurisdiction of Yamaraja, those who are chanting. Generally, they never commit sinful activities. But even if by mistake or because of bewilderment by illusion, they sometimes commit sinful acts. They are protected from sinful reactions because they always chant the Hare Krishna mantra. So this is the instruction of Yamaraja. Those devotees who are chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra with the intention to render direct service to the Supreme Lord, though because of past habits, conditioning, sometimes they may fall, commit sinful activities, still they don't come under the jurisdiction of Yamaraja, but they are forgiven and gradually they elevate to the highest platform of love of Godhead. So we'll conclude with this. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.